Hey guys, so this is my first real Clash Royale video. As you might see if you click on my channel, I have, I believe, two other videos posted. They're just replays. So this is going to be my first real video. As you can tell, I'm doing a voiceover. So starting with this matchup, I'll actually explain my deck first. So my deck is a pretty funky balloon cycle deck that you're never really going to see except for on my channel. So I'll kind of show you how to play it. It's interesting. It's an extremely aggressive pressure deck. So I'm going to start out with my Inferno Dragon in the back, and he's going to respond with an Electro Dragon. And because he responds with the Electro Dragon, that frees us up to push opposite lane, because he has a 9 Elixir invested on the field right now. So it's not a bad idea to counter push opposite lane. So that Lumberjack is going to get a few shots off on that tower, and then he's going to activate King, which kind of sucks for us, but it's not that big of a deal with this deck. You'll be able to get over it. It's more about just getting a massive connection with the balloon or chip damage, depending on the matchup. So since he uses his Tornado, his Goblin Cage, and his Electro Dragon, that means we can go balloon in the opposite lane. So he cycles back to another Goblin Cage, but not before we get death damage, and he has to spend 9 Elixir on that defense. So now we just wait for the Baby Dragon to lock onto the tower, and we go bats. So we did a pretty good job defending there. And we have a counter pushing Valkyrie opposite lane, so he has to use a barbell there too. So now we're relatively even on Elixir, and we have damage advantage, but he has King Tower up. So we're pretty even across the board right now, in my opinion. We're only down 1, which doesn't really matter that much. So he cycles his E-Drag in the back again, which means that we can go Balloon Lumberjack again. Like I said, it's all about the pressure with this deck. That's how you win. You don't let them build a big push. And little did I know he has E-Golem, so it's a good thing we did that. So he defends pretty well with the Tornado and the Baby Dragon there, which is pretty good. And then we do a really good Valkyrie. I don't know if you guys caught that, but the Electro Dragon was coming down the lane, and we kited the E-Drag with the Valkyrie, and then right as the Baby Dragon crossed the bridge, it locked onto the Valkyrie as well. So we prevented all damage with that. So that was pretty good. So he cycles a Goblin Cage, and we're just going to cycle the Inferno Dragon in the back again. He goes with a Sparky opposite lane, so now we need to pressure opposite lane hard, because we don't want him to build a big push. And like I said, he has E-Golem, so that would have been a huge mistake if we didn't. So he's going to go with his E-Drag to try and defend that. The Sparky doesn't help out, so the Lumberjack live a little bit longer. We're going to cycle Skeletons to eat a Sparky shot, and then we're going to try and snipe that. But unfortunately, it gets knocked back when it shoots. I should have taken that into account, so it doesn't snipe it right away. Because of that, we're going to have to zap the Sparky, which prevents damage. Then we go with a Valkyrie, which is a very good counter to Elixir Golem. It'll kill both of the Elixir Golems without taking a lot of damage. And now we have a ton of Elixir, because we just defended 2 Elixir Golems. That's +8. So we go with Inferno Dragon just to tank for a little bit longer, because we don't want to take a lot of damage on that tower. And now we're going to go opposite lane again, because we have 2 Valkyries in the opposite lane. And we're going to have a huge push in the other lane, because he has to defend both. Alright, now he goes with the Sparky to try and kite the Lumberjack, but unfortunately it doesn't work out for him. We zap the Sparky, and the balloon connects to the tower because he fails his Goblin Cage pull. So that was a pretty good game. Now the reason I chose to include this one, we played pretty well, and also this guy's a beast. Look at this guy's profile. He's top 8K right now, and he's finished 71st in the world before, which is absolutely nuts. Almost 8,000 trophies, 10 Grand Challenge wins, 100 Classic Challenge wins, and a 20 game winner as well. Alright. Hopping into this next match, I played this on the same night at 3:30 in the morning. Don't ask why. I don't know. I was playing really well, so I decided to keep playing. And as you can see up at the top, this guy is using 3.4, not 3.5, because he has Knight Ice Bow, which is extremely difficult for this deck. It's one of the hardest matchups. Log Bait is also very difficult because they have Rocket and Inferno Tower. So we started by cycling our Snowball, and he starts out with an Ice Wizard. So I'm already scared that he's running the deck that he is, and we'll find out shortly that he really is. That's when I know, when he places that Tesla right there. Now, I'm pretty mad, because this is an extremely difficult matchup, like I said. So we're going to have to try really hard. We can't mess up. A mistake will cost us the game. So because he uses his Tesla there, we go in the opposite lane. He has to use a Tornado to pull that all together. I thought the Inferno Dragon would tank for the balloon for a few shots from the Tesla, but unfortunately it doesn't. But that's fine. So we get some death damage. It splashes on... Oh, no, actually it doesn't splash onto the Ice Wizard. Interesting, that was close. Ice Wizard comes down the other lane. So we're up in Elixir right now just because we don't have to respond to the Ice Wizard. So we go with the Valkyrie, and then we Skeletons the Ice Wizard just so we can get that out of there. Valkyrie can go up. And then we use an Inferno Dragon, because I know he doesn't have enough Elixir for Rocket. So that was a good play. Now he goes in with a Tesla, and notice the Tesla is placed 1 tile to the left, too far. So that's going to free us up pretty soon to have a push in the other lane. We're going to try and get some tower damage there. So we're probably just going to cycle our bats. We are up a lot of Elixir right now. First we started with the zap, and then we're going to cycle the bats. So that allows us to start building a push. It's harder to respond to bats plus lumberjack and balloon. So we're going to split the bats like I said, and then we're going to go in with lumberjack and balloon at the bridge. Cycles his knight in the back, so it's the tornado, and then he's just going to rocket this all out. And now I'm mad. I hate this. It's such a difficult matchup, but it's fine. We got this. We can do this. So the knight's coming down the lane, and we can completely counter that knight with skeletons, which is pretty nice. As you can see, kited them right in the middle like that, and it's not going to get any damage on the tower. Alright, now we can cycle a spell, choose snowball, and then we can cycle bats again. Now, because he went in for a defensive expo, that means he's going to try and activate King Tower with that placement right there. But he's not going to get it this time around. The balloon's going to die too fast. So the balloon is going to kill the Tesla, and then it's going to almost kill the expo, but not quite. So he didn't get the King activation there. It's pretty close. Now we're going to cycle the Valkyrie in the back again. He's going to go with an Ice Wizard. So it's kind of a reset point at this point. He goes for another defensive expo, and we go with an Inferno Dragon in the back. We're trying to build pushes in 2 lanes. So now that he went for the expo there, I know he's going to go for King activation, but I still have to try and apply pressure and get damage, so you can't just rocket cycle us out, which is also something you want to do with this deck. It's a very fast cycle, so you can outcycle some of their counters. And you want to make them rocket on defense and not on offense, so you can win off with spell damage, which is, you know, what you want to do. So he gets the King Tower activation that time, but I'm alright with that. It doesn't really affect me that much in this match, because it's all about the chip versus the expo. You're not really going to get a connection that often. So we go with the bats to try and block the Tesla, but unfortunately he goes with a NATO, so the Ice Wizard is just going to clean up as well as the Tesla there. So we don't even get death damage. We cycle a snowball, put a Valkyrie down, and then we Inferno Dragon the expo. So we're going to clean that up all nicely, and then we have to cycle skeletons again because that Valkyrie is going to die. So unfortunately we're caught in a pretty bad cycle here, and we actually have to go, we have to go with a balloon at the bridge here to try and assassinate that expo. Fortunately for us, we end up getting that off, and as well as because we got him in a bad card cycle, we even get a connection there, which is extremely rare versus this match. So we get a pretty good Valkyrie placement there. It's going to hit both of the Ice Wizards, kill them both, and then tank for the expo. We snowball both of the buildings, trying to keep the Inferno Dragon alive. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, but we cycle skeletons, we cycle the Lumberjack, and that expo does not get a connection on the tower. He's going to go knight at the bridge to block it. Very well played at the last second, and we're going to zap it all away. So he goes for his first defensive rocket. That's good for us. It's better spent on the balloon than on the tower because it's a positive trade for us, and it preserves our tower's health. Now, as you're going to notice, I'm going to start cycling spells on that tower pretty soon because we need that damage. It's going to really help us. So he goes for the, interestingly enough, the King activation spot again. I'm not sure why, because he already has the King Tower up. So that was, I think, a bit of a mistake on his part. So he goes with his first offensive rocket, which really frees us up to start putting pressure on him because we really need to apply that pressure. If he gets another rocket off, we're going to lose. So we keep going in. There's 30 seconds left in the match. We predict the Tesla with the Inferno Dragon, but he puts a knight down so it doesn't kill it. We try and cycle the snowball. We hit the tower because we need the damage, but he takes it out with the Tesla. He goes in for another rocket, and now we're getting pretty desperate. We need to get this damage, right? We don't need the balloon damage, but we need to cycle our spells, right? So I know how much it does. It does 162 damage, 81 each, and he puts the log down, but he doesn't get the log down in time. So we end up stealing the win from this guy from a basically 100-0 match. I have no idea. That's such a difficult matchup. I'm really happy we won that one. All right. And then we're going to move on to the next match. We got 31 strawberries. That's pretty good. So in this next match, we're going to be facing Graveyard with Bomb Tower and Musketeer. It's a pretty difficult matchup as well, just because I have so many answers to your Blue and Lumberjack. And this deck kind of struggles a little bit against Graveyard, unless you block it at the bridge, which you're going to see I'm going to do. So we started off by cycling Zap. I really like to do that, unless I have skeletons in cycle. So he's going to go with a Barbell, and we're just going to go with a Valkyrie to counter that. It works pretty nicely. Now we have the counter pushing Valkyrie. So when he puts the baby dragon in the back, I'm thinking this is either going to be Golem or Graveyard, and I am correct in the second guess. So we try to play according to that. Don't want to overspend because then he can have a huge push and just, you know, overwhelm us. So just in case he went for a Graveyard there, I decided to play my Lumberjack a little bit early to try and kill that knight faster. And then we just assassinate the baby dragon with the bat. So he goes with the Musketeer, and that cleans up all of our stuff nicely. So we're about even on Elixir, but he has a Musketeer up, so he has the advantage. So the tower locks onto the Musketeer, and we just kill it with skeletons, preventing hits, and then we put a Valkyrie right in the middle. Oh, no, actually we don't do that. We snowball. We'll put the Valkyrie there later. But we snowball at the pretty much the perfect time there. So as you can see, we let the skeletons build up a little bit, so that way we can get the spell off at the good time and prevent as much damage as possible. Now we're going to go in for offense, and he fails his bomb tower kite, so he's actually going to have to tornado this balloon. We still don't get any damage, and I am not happy about this, because this is an extremely difficult matchup, just like Expo. It's a little bit easier, but it's still extremely difficult. So 30 seconds left in single elixir time. We have the Inferno Dragon, and we have an elixir advantage very slightly. So we're in a pretty good spot. He fails his Night Kite on the Inferno Dragon, and we zap the tower for a little bit of extra damage, which is pretty good. Now we're just going to kill the Knight with bats, and since he plays the graveyard, now we're going to Valkyrie like I said earlier, right in that middle spot in the graveyard. He misplayed the graveyard a little bit, because as you're going to notice, a few of the skeletons pop up, and that tower on the left, as you can see, just shoots that last one. So we prevent most of the damage. Now that we have a counter pushing Valkyrie and we're up 1 elixir, we go opposite lane. I know he's going to bomb tower right here as he does. So we're going to snowball that bomb tower and try and kill it. But unfortunately, it survives with a sliver of health. But we still get a connection. The baby dragon didn't get down in time. So we get 2 hits because we used our zap there. So that was really, really well played on our part. We got a huge damage advantage there. Now we're pretty much just going to bats the baby dragon, and then we're gonna Valkyrie right. No, we don't Valkyrie. We lumberjack balloon opposite lane, and like last time, we're just gonna snowball at the perfect time to take out that graveyard. So there we go. He uses the tornado, but it's way too late. We get a connection on the tower because it's raged up. You can't counter the balloon with the tornado when it's raged. You also can't activate King Tower when it's raged. Now watch this, ready? I put the Inferno Dragon at the bridge, perfect timing. As soon as he puts his baby dragon down, I block the graveyard, I put the Valkyrie right in the middle, and then I'm going to snowball at the last second and clean everything up. And it's perfect. Look at that. We survive, we win, and we only have 32 or 52 health on our tower. So I'm really happy about that win because it was really close.